In this Halo Wars 2 3 versus 3 match, I am playing as Voridus. We got a UNSC teammate as Green, and Dark Blue is also going to be Covenant. We're going to go against two Covenants on Red and Yellow that are each on the edges, and UNSC as Orange. We'll find out their leader as the game progresses. And as you can see, right away we're going to go after the power nodes. Can't emphasize enough how important that is and what to expect for this game. You're going to go ahead and see a little bit of tugging and pulling. The teleports are going to be used on the map to try and get advantageous positions. There's going to be more fighting on the outside of the map than at center itself to try and get those better positions, and we're going to see how that continues to play out throughout this game. For now, we're going to continue with our grunt production. The Sentinels will go after the Marines that are getting the supplies, and that gives us an opportunity to go ahead and start focusing down on the Sentinels to take them out. But unfortunately, they turned around and started attacking us instead of getting the Marines that are actually getting the supply. So they definitely were able to get a lot of the supply, unfortunately, and we could have stopped that from happening, but it is what it is, as this Marine says goodbye as it hits a mine. So now we have two power nodes, and as I mentioned before, two power nodes equals one generator. So therefore, even though I have only one gen, we are at a little bit of an advantage here. I accidentally brought up the text to speech by mistake, which is a feature in this game. You can actually send messages in this game through the controller, but I haven't seen it work for me. And now we're going to start working on the next node, but it turns out it's actually being engaged by another opponent. So a little bit interesting here, because now Red has shown up with their grunts, and now there's going to be a little contention coming in for this power node. Right now it's 4 grunts of 4 grunts. I do have veterancy on 2 of them, but a 5th grunt did show up, so we're going to fall back just a little bit, start making some engineers, and we're going to just continue to play this back and forth battle to see who's going to have the ability to take on that power node. So I still don't have the mini base on the right hand side, and the main reason I did not choose to do that is because if it was stolen, that means it's going to be free supply coming in for me if they go ahead and go after that. So now we're going to have a little bit of an engagement here. We got to do a little bit of micro to try to make sure we get the best engagement that we can. And now we're going to try and get rid of this grunt before it goes ahead and captures. And we do have the goo drop as well, which we're going to go ahead and use. The Marauders are now down. Mines will be dropped on the power node as well, which will be a little bit unfortunate. But we do have ourselves some engineers that are going to be able to at least clear that out once it gets together. So for now, we're just going to move our army around. We're going to wait for our engineers to come in to provide vision. And so far we have 3 out of the 5 nodes, which is very nice to see. We're grabbing that second mini while this mine, cannon fodder, gets hit on that stasis mine. But now we're going to try and see if we can get ourselves an engagement here to get rid of some of the grunts. We drop in a Wagyu move, which is going to be alright. There's still some mines that we're going to have to deal with, but the cannon fodder is doing a great job just taking that damage for us while we start working on the node on this side. So we have a slight engagement. The engineers are going to try and be focused down, but it looks like I'm microing well enough such that the engineer is not going to be targeted. Shrapnel mines are being researched as well, so then once that's ready, we'll be able to do a lot more damage with this army over here. But until then, we have to be a little bit more patient, make sure the engineers do not get focus fired, and continue to show up. Shrapnel mines just finished, which means we are now going to be able to take this power node. Now, the next thought process here is to go ahead and shift over to the left hand side to see if there's an expansion base, but this kind of leaves Dark Blue in a very vulnerable position. And instead of me falling back to go and help him out, I'm going to go ahead and check if there's an expansion to see if I can punish anything on that side. But now Orange Hero has shown up on the left side as well, and that's going to be a little bit of a problem. I'm starting to push the mini base, but this Yap Yap is going to be a little bit in trouble. They have the mine, please don't shoot, comes in, and I'm going to come in as well. Those mines did a magnificent job. There was a whole bunch of explosions there, unfortunately. And this was the first miscue that I ended up doing. Definitely should have stayed with Dark Blue, because now Dark Blue Yap Yap is on his own over here. And I'm trying to tell him, hey, come over here. You can come and get some reinforcements from this side of the army, which will be nice to see. But they lost 2 of their heroes because of me. And yes, we are going to be able to shift away and push back Red and Orange. But this was definitely a fight that we could have easily have taken together if I didn't choose to go ahead and check for that expansion base, and instead just stayed on this aggressive pattern with the 2 of us together. That's why it's teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work, and there definitely was not teamwork in that situation. So now we have good counterattack potential. We're going to see if a second base is being established, and since there is, we're going to try and attack it so we can go ahead and get some extra resources from attacking this base. Why move? For the shrapnel mines will come down, which will be nice to see. And so they're going to cancel the base right away. Yap Yap has shown up as well, and this is what I mean. If we both stuck together at the very beginning, this game probably would have ended already, but unfortunately that was not the case. We will go double apex in order to start with this interesting composition between air and infantry. While we have a good edge on this side of the map, we are kind of in a weird situation on what to do next. So far, red doesn't have a second base, which is nice, but dark blue doesn't have a second base either, which is a little bit unfortunate. So we need to find a way to get him a second base. Suicide grunts will be coming in, which will be a little bit problematic, but we're going to go ahead and start falling. In fact, we're actually going to take this engagement. Mines are going to come down, and suicide grunts come in, and just everything blew up. I really don't understand what transpired there, but those mines did a heck of a lot over here, and we kind of lost our whole army because of it. So now we're in a full-scale retreat, trying to retreat my engineers so that way they don't get hit any more further than they have, and I don't have a second base myself either. So honestly, a bunch of misplays ended up happening during this early game, and now we're going to start transitioning over to the mid game. So I'm only making a couple Banshees. This is not a mass air situation. I wanted to see if I can get some Banshees set up to go ahead and hit the mini base and get some supplies that way. But for now, we're at least still holding 4 out of the 5 power nodes, which means that's a gen. That's technically a gen and an upgraded gen together, which is nice to see, or 2 separate unupgraded gens. We're going to keep our production up with our grunts, but we don't even have infantry upgraded as well. But we are going to go ahead and get more grunts in this army. So green is also starting to go into this mass air mentality with a bunch of hornets, and this is why I'm not really going to also commit towards the air. I sent some Banshees out in order to get some vision, and then that way we can go ahead and try and get some additional resources if possible. So far, no expansion base has been set up, so we're going to go ahead and send our Banshees on the other side. And now orange is red is looking to go ahead and double up on dark blue on that left hand side. So there's going to be a little bit of trouble here. Cleansing beam will come down, which is nice to see. It's going to be doing a little bit of work. We're going to drop our marauder as well to go after some of the grunts, but we don't have those upgrades that we want for the infantry, which is unfortunate. So we got to somehow do some counter damage if possible. Yellow is at the teleporter, and this is going to be our cue to retreat the Banshees. So now we're in a tough situation. My only option really is to go ahead and take teleporter to see if I can deny a base that's going to be done on red side as they continue to push on that other lane. There are some mines, but we were able to clear out those mines immediately thanks to our engineer. And now we got to start focusing down on this base. It has been upgraded, and red and orange are over there. So if I can go ahead and just focus down on the base, we'll be hopefully in a better position to go ahead and put them back to one base while our teammate is also going to one base. But Wolverines are now starting to show up, which will start to be a problem. We're trying to focus down on the base. They have fallen back though, so that is the good news. And since they have fallen back, that's going to give us the ability to go ahead and just keep dark blue's expansion base alive just a little bit longer. So now we're going to go ahead and start falling back. Please don't shoot is going to be called very perfectly. And we're now going to start making some hunters because we're going to need it. And our third gen is also going to start being made. So we're going to have double raid camp, double apex. We're going to have a mixture of air and ground. We do have Voridus drop as well. And so if that opportunity lies, we're going to continue to try and use the teleporter in order to get into an advantageous position. But now yellow took the teleporter themselves, and they're going to start pressuring dark blue on that side, and green is going to need some help. Voridus drop is going to come down, and green is not going to help. Green is going to counter and trying to hit yellow instead. And so I have a Voridus drop. There is a grunt dome happening over there, but currently my only option is once again send my army through the teleporter and see what we can go ahead and do over here. Marauder drop will come down, but that is a lot of elite rangers, and this is going to be a little bit problematic for us. We have units coming in through the teleporter. We're going to try and focus down on the base once again, but there's a shield gen this time, so he's going to have a lot more time this time around compared to before. But Yellow was able to get pulled back, but the double is still happening on dark blue on that left hand side. So I need to try and take out this shield gen and focus down on the base as fast as possible, because of the fact that they are doing a magnificent job on that side. So hunters are here, banshees are here, second base has been destroyed. So hopefully I can take out this shield gen on time so I can go ahead and start taking it down with some Y moves with shrapnel mines. If we can get rid of this base, this is going to be very nice to see, but looks like reinforcements will be coming in and I won't be able to stop this second base from being established, unfortunately. More reinforcements are coming in. I do have myself at least killing some units, which is nice to see. We do have a good army comp to go ahead and take this engagement as we continue to take out units from orange and from red, but our units are starting to get hurt pretty badly. As much as I think we can stay in this fight, we really can't. And so now, unfortunately, dark blue is back on one base, going to go for an expansion once again. The stalemate between green and yellow isn't looking too hot either, but we're going to see if there's something that we can do to try and regain this disadvantage that we are in. Yellow's trying to expand in mid, and this is going to give me the chance to send some banshees over since they're not very helpful for me whatsoever. So we can go ahead and gain some additional resources while there's an engagement happening between green and red. Engineers are providing a little bit of heal, which is nice to see. We're going to gain just a little bit of resources, getting rid of that expansion base. But now everyone's busy at the middle of the map. You see red there, you see orange there, you see yellow there. So that's going to be my cue. Hey, this is my time to go ahead and hit this teleporter once again if we choose to do so. But it turns out we're not going to. We're going to wait a little bit longer to make the army that we need. And dark blue and green are doing a great job holding them off on that side. I am getting slightly more resources from the banshees that are attacking the mini base. But there's still the question of what's going to happen with green's large air army. Dark blue still trying to keep red in check, even though red kind of hard counters him. And now I'm going to come in for the attack on the left hand base. I feel like this is a good opportunity to do so. It's going to give me a great opportunity to fall back if need be. We have a bunch of grunts. We're going to have the Voridus drop. And now we're just going to go ahead and just try and take out as much of this base as possible. We're going to gain a lot of resources here, which is nice to see, which will allow us to start focusing on base defenses. And now we're on a clock. Right now, green's doing a good job distracting the enemy. We're targeting the expansion base from orange, since orange was on one base for an incredibly long time. Assault beams are coming in. We're streamlining our reinforcements. They're going to be coming the long way because unfortunately trying to rely on the teleporter will not be a good move there. We do have another Voridus drop if we need to go ahead and use it. But for now, we're doing a lot of good damage on the units, the buildings that are over here. And now green is showing up as well. So we're in a tough situation. All three of us are here. Yellow's going to go ahead and hit dark blue's base once again, which is very unfortunate. Maelstrom is unlocked, so we can combo this if we can. But for now, we're going to go ahead and push the enemy back, and we're going to take out orange's base and put them back to one base. But this is still kind of a problem as a whole. Dark blue is going to be on one base now, and we still have the question of how are we going to go ahead for the assault here. Ghost of the Machine does get popped, and that's going to be very nice to see because we can continue to knock out units. But this is a lot of strong units coming in from orange, and yellow is continuing their push on dark blue's main base. So as much as I would like to stay to fight this fight, I think I'm going to have to fall back to the teleporter to go ahead and deal with yellow. And that's exactly what we're going to go ahead and do. We're going to take the teleporter, we're going to fall back, and we need to help our teammate out because they are in dire need of help. Their base is getting stripped down instead of being targeted down, and yellow's going to continue to do so with the damage reduction, and they have shrouds. So we have a Voridus Marauder drop that's going to come in, which is going to be nice. But the shroud's still going to be a little bit problematic, but we will go ahead and use... Oh, and Eradication's coming down. This is going to be tough. Will the base be saved? Please Don't Shoot comes in at the perfect time. And now orange has shown up through my base because they went through the teleporter. And I am caught in a very awkward situation here. But the base was able to get healed because of Yap Yap. But there was a lot of damage done over here. So we lost our blister back right away, but it's fine. We got a bunch of supply. But now our base is being targeted. And we do have Fortification 1, which is nice. And we have Assault Beam. So As we get closer to this army, we're going to be able to continue to push this out with what we've got. So we're going to just keep on marching all the way through because of the fact that we have everything that we need. Jump pack brutes will come in for the stun, and we have a little bit of a flank with some hunters that were spawning in. So we're focusing down on the vehicles. We have the counter for this. We are losing a little bit of units, but honestly, they are losing so much more units. We got rid of a bunch of Wolverines and some tanks, which are nice to see. And now we're going to go for a different play here. We can go ahead and take the teleporter. Green has gone ahead and pinged to say, hey, we're going to hit red. But instead, I actually have a different idea. I think instead, it's going to be better to go ahead and see if I can go ahead and use blisterbacks and try and see if I can attack the other side. We're going to check the teleporter to see if we can, but I saw orange over there, and so this is not really going to be the best engagement. But shoot, we're going to go ahead and go for it anyways. I thought we were going to go ahead and flank through the right side, but that's not happening just yet. So instead, we're going to go ahead and shift on over to see if an expansion base is being made by orange once again on that left hand side, and if it is, we're going to be able to deny that base right away. And it looks like red is the one that's going to be getting the second base. And it turns out this is a pretty tough engagement for me. There's going to be a bunch of units over here, and I'm going to have to go for a full-scale retreat because there's no way I can fight this army. This army's not good for me to fight against because of the fact that they have so many elite rangers, and the arbiter's ability is just making it work so well for them. So this is going to have to be a fallback. We put up the little barrier, and we're going to start falling back to our second expansion base once again. And one thing that I've noticed that I am not doing too often is to go for the upgrade for advanced logistics. I think advanced logistics is incredibly underrated. Being able to produce units a lot faster really helps with just everything from macro and micro. And it helps with the reinforcements coming in as well. But for now, we're going to continue to get the fortification upgrades because we are a little bit concerned that if we get attacked, we want to be able to defend that. So now we're going to start to shift over, but green has found orange's army, and that couldn't have happened any better because green counters orange right now because there isn't much anti-air. Red is going with a push on this left-hand side, which is going to be a little bit problematic. So now, what I mentioned earlier is going to happen. We're going to go ahead and shift on over to the right-hand side in order for us to go ahead and see if we can throw the enemy to a loop and not be ready for this attack that's going to be happening. And so we're going to have our blisterback set up. We have anti-vehicles. The only thing we're missing is kind of anti-air, but we do have a couple grunts that will go ahead and help with that. So we're getting ready to set this up. We have our blisterback set up as well. Because the mini base was destroyed, they have no idea that we exist, which is nice to see. We're going to move our blisterbacks up a little bit closer. Green is taking a good engagement against red. Red does not have much anti-air in my opinion. Cleansing beam is destroying a lot of Isabel's units, but we're going to at least set up these blisterbacks into a good position. And once we get vision from the high ground, we can start focusing down on the expansion base, and that's exactly what's going to end up happening. That blisterback just got enough vision, and we got the blisterbacks all scattered out pretty nicely. So now we're going to start working on the second base. Now orange is going to start shifting over with a bunch of tanks. We do have our hunters ready to go, and now we have to be able to hold this off. We got a raid camp for when we need it, but the banshees are actually shifting. So it turns out yellow is shifting over to air, and we're going to start losing blisterbacks because of this. This was something that wasn't really foreseen. We do have a couple grunts to go ahead and try and hold off some of this air that's happening right now, but orange chose not to go ahead and attack me. So Atriox is going to stay over here with this engagement, which is not a bad idea because of the fact that I don't have much anti-air. But now you have a bunch of Reavers that are trying to come over here, but I pretty much have everything that I need to go ahead and win this fight. I don't have Cataclysm yet, and if I do, I can't pop it. So Cleansing Beam combo is coming down. Unbreakable is being used as well. The blisterbacks are doing great work. I did lose 2 of them, unfortunately, but we're going to continue this engagement. As long as the shields are actually down, we're going to be put in a situation where we can continue to pressure. A great grunt dome is coming in, which is going to be nice. It's going to allow us to continue to push on to yellow space. Meanwhile, orange is being cleaned up by green at middle over there with all the tanks that they had, since they chose not to push me because I did kind of counter them. And now we got ourselves a surprise grunt drop coming in from Yap Yap, which is nice to see. And now the shield gen's gone. So all we have to do is keep focusing down on yellow's base, which will give us the opportunity to go ahead and take that base out. We do have the grunt dome as well, which is going to be incredibly helpful, but we don't have the tech, which is kind of unfortunate. So I'm going to go with an infusion wake that we're going to go ahead and just spread out on this left-hand side and on the base as well. So then we can go ahead and pop that cataclysm to do a lot of damage. So even though all that stuff is cloaked, that's going to give me a good opportunity to shift over to the other side, so that way I can stay outside the range of the cataclysm. And now we have our Voridus hero in as well, which is nice. So turrets taken care of. There's no more turrets left. All that's left is a base. We do have our hero to go ahead and protect us as well. We're getting a bunch of resources. Now Yap Yap is coming in to help reinforce this, because of the fact that I still don't have much anti-air. We have a lot of hunters, but that's about it. But with what we've got in the blisterbacks, we're going to be able to take out this base, but an eradication is going to come in, and I need to try and split myself out of there. We aren't going to lose any units, which is good, but we do have a lot of injured units as a whole. But we got rid of the expansion base from yellow, so that means the right side is incredibly strong. So if we set up our blisterbacks and get ourselves ready for one good push, we have an opportunity to finish this. The thing is, yellow was smart. Yellow did not lose all their units trying to defend their expansion base. So if we overcommit, we can be put in a situation where we're going to go ahead and be behind. But green has shown up. The Isabel has shown up packing with a bunch of vultures and nightingales. This is the random teammate that's on our side, and hey, if it's time, it's time. It's one of those things. Let the vulture wars begin. Orange is the other opponent that can go vultures if they choose to do so, but we're going to come in for the attack. We got blisterbacks ready to go. There's going to be a mass stasis, but then the cleansing beam from the enemy can't be used because of the mass stasis. So it kind of saved our army. Huge miscommunication there. We have marauder drops. There are some mines coming in, but that got cleared up as well. Ghost of the Machine gets used on some of Atrioch's army, and it gets caught on a couple tanks as well. So we're going to go ahead and focus down on everything that's around here. The base is being Y-moved by a bunch of vultures, and he's just going to go ahead and self-destruct the base. Honestly, our army is just too large. Holograms being used as well. We have a bunch of hunters. Spartan Slam is going to come in, but it's not really going to stop us. And now red has shown up. It's unfortunate because red was a little bit late in this fight. Our infusion wake will come down, which is going to help stun and slow down the enemy just a little bit. Not really stun, but slow him down. Hailstorm is ready to be used if need be, but it does look like the enemy are going to go ahead and start resigning. There is a shield dome that is being used right now, but unfortunately that's the end of that level 2 Atriox, and this is going to bring this game to a conclusion. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, feel free to leave a like while we go ahead and get ready to transition over to the stats. But before I do, let's go ahead and run things back a little bit. I think everything started off on the downfall in regards to me trying to see if there was an expansion base happening on that left hand side where red was at. And because of that, if I stayed and backed up my teammate Yap Yap from the very beginning instead of abandoning him there very quick, then we would have been put into a better position as a whole. And I think the game would have ended a lot quicker than it could have. But Dark Blue, our Yap Yap, has hung in there. Shout out to Dark Blue, shout out to Green. They were great, amazing teammates. Green was the random player on our team, so grateful for this great teamwork and camaraderie that we had, and way to stick on through it. And great enemy engagements by the enemy. They did a great job as a whole, and so it was very fun commentating this game, and I really hope that you enjoyed watching this commentary as well. So let's take a quick look at the stat line before it is too late. So far, our rando did amazing on the economy game and most units destroyed, which is nice to see. And Arbiter made a whole bunch of units. That's why advanced logistics is very important. With that being said, enjoy your afternoon, evening, whatever it is. Keep enjoying and being awesome. And until the next commentary video.